All right. All right.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, we're back for another episode. I wanted to wear my shirt. Well, I mean, I'm wearing it. I just have a sweatshirt over top of it. To show you guys what Julie got me for my birthday. But I was a little disappointed with how this weekend went. So sweatshirt. So um if
I'll show
they
you when they
do
actually place.
yeah, if they do better next weekend, then I'll show you my shirt. That sounds weird, but just roll with it. Okay, before we get too far
Anyways.
into the episode, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on our post notifications, and check out the links to our other social media pages in the description below.
Now to stupid statistics. Alvin Kamara has never scored a touchdown on a Why do I keep saying Tuesday? It's a Thursday. I can read. Alvin Kamara has never scored a touchdown on a Thursday.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. They played this week on Thursday, and he didn't, like, he had an okay week, don't get me wrong, but he definitely didn't put up as many fantasy points as he did, like, the past couple weeks.
Only two QBs in NFL history has a team record of 0 to 10 or worse. Oh, 0 out of 10. Is that 0 out of 10 or 0 to 10?
It's 0 wins, 10 losses.
Okay, I'll say that again because I did not understand that. Okay,
Just say have a team record of 0 and 10 or worse.
thank you. I don't. This is what I get for trying to do this at 1 in the morning. Okay, only two QBs in NFL history has a team record
Of 0 and 10 or worse in games
of
where they have attempted a
the
pass.
worst. Y'all, I would again like to tell y'all that we're doing this at 1 in the morning. Okay, games. Okay, in games where they have attempted a pass, this is Zach Mettenberger, and he has 0 to 13. And then Tim Bull, which is 0 to 10.
Yeah,
You get what I mean.
so Zach Mettenberger actually spent 2 years with the Titans, and they had 0 wins in his 2 seasons that he played for them. And then Tim Boyle actually played for the Dolphins, and ironically, he played against the Colts and the Seahawks this week, or not this week, but this season, in place of Tua Tagovailoa, since he's still out with his concussion, and he is 0 and 10. So both Zach and Tim both have not had a win in games where they've attempted.
That's lovely. Not for them. All right. The only starting QB with 0 pass touchdowns in 6 straight games since 2000 was Daniel Jones.
Yeah, so if you've seen how the Giants are playing, you would kind of get the impression that he's not doing that great, considering they got crushed by the Eagles this week.
Yeah. It was I saw the score and I was like, ooh, that's rough. That's like Panther level rough. Okay. Anyways, in college basketball, Virginia men's basketball coach Tony Bennett will announce his immediate retirement in a press conference last Friday. So he did announce it, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Was it last
So,
Friday? Yeah.
Coach Bennett actually led them to their March Madness tournament title in 2020, I want to say. I don't know. It was recently. It was with Kyle Guy on their team, and now he's one of their assistant coaches. So it's kind of like full circle for Kyle. But yeah, Tony Bennett's been in charge of them for a while now, and I think that this move is shocking considering I didn't see it coming. But, I mean, but what do I know?
Okay, continuing. Barcelona will wear Coldplay's Moon Music logo on their jersey for Clásico on October 26th.
Have
That's pretty
you
cool.
listened to their new album? Like, is there anything good on it?
Coldplay's?
Yeah.
I mean, I've listened to all his old albums. I didn't know he had a new one.
Yeah, me either. Just was curious. Like, is there a song that
But
I
like,
should
get it, I guess.
know? Literally.
Guess we'll have to look into it. Listen to some new songs this week. You can yell at us in the comments. Okay, continuing. Okay, I'm gonna try my best to say his last name correctly, but Alex Ovechkin
Ovechkin.
is only the sixth player in the NA Ovechkin. Okay, see, I was close. Ignore the fact that I said chicken. Is only the sixth player in NHL history with at least 700 goals and 700 assists in his career.
Did Sidney Crosby hit this yet?
Sorry
Do we
for that.
know?
I don't know. I
Or
didn't look, but I honestly was like thinking, should I look? But I didn't.
I got it. Oh, he doesn't have the goals yet. He has the assists, I believe. Yeah. Okay. So he has 593 goals and 1,009 assists.
Oh my gosh.
All
Wow.
right. Well, okay. He's been playing
I
since
mean,
2005. Next year he'll have played for 20 years. Nah, that's crazy.
what? Wow. I mean, I can't say anything because I'm like, whenever you say something above 2005, I'm like, well, I guess they are about 20. So go crazy. 20 years. Like,
Sorry, I just decided to pull up Ovechkin's, and he also joined in 2005. He has 854 goals and 700 assists.
we need to
Nice.
update that.
Nice.
Okay, nice. Good, I guess.
Slay.
About to sneeze.
Bless you.
Sneeze. Don't sneeze.
Bless you. Bless you. Bless you.
That's so mean. That's so mean. Okay, moving on to the NFL. I usually do good at this part, but the rate I'm going, we'll see. All right, let's do this. The Broncos beat the Saints 33-10. Jaguars beat the Patriots 32-16. Lions beat the Vikings 31-29. Bills beat the Titans 34-10. Colts beat the Dolphins 16-10. Seahawks beat the Falcons 34-14. Packers beat the Texans 24-22. Bengals beat the Browns 21-14. Eagles beat the Giants 28-3. Rams beat the Raiders 20-15. Commanders beat the Panthers 40-7. Chiefs beat the 49ers 28-20, and Steelers beat the Jets 37-15. Oh, not sure if this is relevant or not, but Trump was at the game. Kudos to him. Moving on. Okay, and the Ravens versus the Buccaneers tomorrow night at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, and the Chargers versus the Cardinals tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
So, relief. The immediate relief on Julie's face. But I didn't realize that we were getting
Okay.
2 Monday night games, so I'm excited for that.
Isn't that what we've been having?
No, we normally there's one.
No, not tonight though. Not tonight.
No.
I
Well,
didn't mean tonight. I meant last
technically
week.
you're right, but
Moving on.
okay. So we've had some ignoring that. So we've had some players swapping teams, going elsewhere. So Devontae Adams was traded from the Raiders to the Jets, so he's reuniting. Well, I mean, they played tonight, so he reunites with Aaron Rodgers, and it wasn't a great time being reunited, but game's the game. Another wide receiver that got traded was Browns wide receiver Amari Cooper. So he's actually going to the Bills along with a 2025 sixth round pick in exchange for a 2025 third round and a 2026 seventh round. So, about this trade, just a little tidbit here. But Amari Cooper's first catch in a Bills uniform was actually a touchdown pass. And not only that, but he didn't even know what route he was supposed to be running. So he asked the wide receiver to his left, he's like, "Dog, what route am I supposed to be running?" And you can see back on the footage that the wide receiver he's talking to goes like, and that's the route he runs, and he catches the ball for a touchdown pass, and I'm like, way to go, Amari. Way to go. Alright, and then Lions defensive tackle Alan McNeil is getting a 4-year contract extension. I don't know the numbers for this yet, but I know that he's getting a 4-year extension. Additionally, the Titans are releasing safety Jamal Adams as he was looking for a trade. However, he hasn't gotten that yet, so we'll see if he ends up going somewhere else. He's pretty good, so I don't see why he wouldn't find somewhere else to go. But you just never know if teams actually need another safety or not.
Yeah.
And then our favorite person to talk about, the Jets and Hassan Reddick, have agreed to an adjusted contract. So that ends his holdout. But not only that, the Jets have agreed to waive his fines. So he has over $12 million in fines right now, and the Jets are waiving it because of this new contract. And he's playing the rest of the season with the Jets.
I don't like that.
I mean, it's good for the Jets defense.
They need it because they suck, I guess.
I mean, okay, they didn't actually start bad, but like they have other the announcers were saying that they have like 2 or 3 other players on their defense missing, so this should be able to boost their defense a little bit more and help, I hope. Alright, and the Titans quarterback, Will Levis, is currently dealing with a grade 2 AC sprain in his right shoulder. Levis has played through injuries in the past, but the Titans are considering this to be week by week, so we'll see when he plays next. And then Commanders wide receiver Jaden Daniels exited their game early this week with a supposed rib injury, is what they were calling it on the sidelines. But then his mom went and tweeted out, "He's fine. Hail to the Commanders." So I guess we'll see him play next week against the Bears. But as you can tell, the Commanders did proceed to win 40-7, and Daniels was only on the field for 1 possession. Good for them. So according to 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan, the 49ers are fearing that wide receiver Brandon Ayuk, our other favorite person to talk about, has torn his ACL. After all that time about him holding out a contract, like for a new, better contract, he goes and he gets injured. So I feel like it was right for them not to give him this mega contract. You know, it's kind of like karma. Like, not karma, but it's like,
Yeah.
what am I looking for here? It kind of evens itself out. They were right not to give him that big contract.
I don't know another name for it.
Yeah, me either, but it definitely wasn't karma. I just kind of skipped ahead to my next point. Okay, anyways, ignoring that. So is this instant karma for Deshaun Watson? So the Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski came. The Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski came out and said last week that he was not going to bench Deshaun Watson despite how terrible they've been playing. And then they made their rookie QB their second QB, and then they put Jameis Winston as their emergency third string QB. So Deshaun Watson actually, it's looking like he tore his Achilles in this week's loss to the Bengals. So is that instant karma for him after last week? I don't know. But then their backup QB went down, and then Jameis Winston came into the game. And sorry, I'm just looking at this. And see, then they like did better when Jameis Winston was in the game. But apparently Kevin Stefanski doesn't want to play Jameis Winston. All right, and now we're
Interesting.
over to soccer. So in Serie A, AC Milan won 1-0 again. I tell you who they beat, but honestly, I don't want to butcher the pronunciation, so all you have to know is that AC Milan won. Christian Pulisic had an assist. Again, per usual. When is he not having a goal contribution? So, with that assist, Pulisic now has 6 goals and 3 assists in 10 games. So he's on fire this season so far. Love and life in Italy. And then in the Premier League, Liverpool beat Chelsea 2-1. Arsenal beat Bournemouth. I mean, they didn't beat Bournemouth. They lost to Bournemouth. Arsenal got a red card in the 30th minute, so another red card meme for Arsenal. Tottenham beat West Ham 4-1. West Ham also got a red card in the 86th minute. And then this is totally irrelevant, but well, not really irrelevant, but like low-key it's irrelevant compared to what we normally talk about. But Aston Villa beat Fulham 3-1. However, there were red cards from both teams. So Fulham got one in the 64th minute and Villa got one in 90+3. So love that. Love it. It was just like red cards galore this weekend. And then in La Liga, Real Madrid won 2-1 over Celta Vigo. And Atleti beat, I don't even want to pronounce it. So Atleti won 3-1. And then Barca beat Sevilla 5-1. That's all you need to know for La Liga. And then in the Bundesliga, my personal favorite, as we all know, Bayern beat Stuttgart 4-0. Harry Kane had a first half perfect hat trick. It's the first one since 2015 when Robert Lewandowski scored against Wolfsburg. It was his famous 5 goals in 9 minutes game. What a game that was. But the term that the Germans use is Lupenreiner, which is 3 goals that is scored in the same half and uninterrupted by any other goal scorers. So had someone else scored like Gnabry or who was starting on the other wing, I can't remember. One of them scored or anyone else, then it would have been interrupted. But no one else did in the first half. So bad news with this game. Alexander Pavlovich broke his collarbone during the game. Now, I wasn't watching because I forgot that they were playing, but we're not going to talk about that. So he underwent surgery earlier today, or yesterday, I guess, to repair the damage that was done from his collar. So that's unfortunate because now Bayern loses a very good midfielder, and he will not be coming back to Bayern this calendar year. Not this season, calendar year. So hopefully he'll be back sometime within 2025. I'm not so sure what the recovery timeline is for a broken collarbone. So we'll see.
I knew someone with a broken collarbone, but it took him, I think, at least 2 months, 3 months. It depends on the physical therapy and how bad it was. But maybe it will only take him a month.
No, he's definitely not coming back. They're not going to rush him. They'll give him the winter break to come back. He'll come back in like January, February. Hopefully, if everything goes well.
It's probably good.
But this kind of adds to Bayern's semi-injury woes that we currently have. Jamal Musiala aggravated something within his groin, hamstring area, something like that. So he's looking to make his comeback during the Barcelona game that we play this week. So fingers crossed Musiala is available for our game this week. Which leads me to my next point. Champions League is back, so we will be playing Barca. Hope we crush it. And then internationally, so England men's team finally have a coach. The national team for England finally have a coach. Thomas Tuchel is taking over for Gareth Southgate. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. Just because Tuchel did just coach for Bayern, so I'm interested to see how this translates. It's kind of like Poch. You know, did I? Oh my gosh! And then I can say this too, but it's kind of like Poch. You have limited amount of time internationally with your players, especially ones that are playing like abroad, or like I guess in England's case in MLS. Not that they're going to call anyone up from MLS, but still different time zones and stuff. And there's only you only have so much time to implement your ideas. But this brings me to my next thought about US MNT, and they played last Tuesday, I think it was, against Mexico. It was at Mexico. We were missing numerous important players, but we lost. We lost like 2-0, 2-3-0. Hold on, let me. Yep, we lost 2-0. So I was not happy about that. We looked okay for parts of it, but it was really like our C team playing. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, but there was it didn't seem like there was a lot of fighting spirit within the team, so I was kind of annoyed and upset about that. So lovely. But that's all I want to talk about for soccer, because I'm moving past that Mexico game. We're looking forward, not behind, forward. Which brings us to F1. Well, we can start at the beginning when we found out, before probably maybe even on Media Day on Thursday, that next year we're losing the point for fastest lap.
I don't know how I feel about that. I think it takes away from some of the teams who it's harder for them to get points. Like, they'll have a better chance at maybe getting some points just by getting the fastest lap, even if they're in 14th place. But maybe that's why they want to get rid of it, so that the drivers will work maybe harder for it. But I don't know.
Well, you see how crucial points are to the standings and stuff, especially
Yeah.
this year, with the driver's standings. I don't understand why you would take it away. It just makes it more competitive in a way, I guess. You get an extra point if you're within the top 10. Why would you not go for it, like that? Why would you take that away? That just makes, yeah. And then we gotta talk about Lewis.
There's a lot of things that they have decided.
Go ahead.
My last little tidbit about it is I feel like they're already doing so many changes that it's already making it harder for them. It's already making it harder for this coming year. And then they go and they're like, well, actually, we're taking your fastest lap points away too. So have fun with that. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's just, but then we gotta talk about Lewis going out in Q1 for qualifying.
No, that was George.
I'm not. No.
Or was that?
That was Lewis, because he started P18.
Lewis, then George, then Lewis.
I can't
Oh
say
yeah,
that
he just didn't get a good race and he got an IQ.
yeah, I don't know what Mercedes was doing. It just didn't really put it together this weekend. I was expecting more from them, especially after how they were looking in the qualifying, like the sprint qualifying sessions, especially. They looked really good and really strong. But then they kind of just fell apart. Well, we don't have the notes for the sprint, so I'm just not gonna talk about that because I didn't watch it.
I
I
watched
was
it.
coaching. Don't sue me.
My only notes from the sprint from when I watched it was you could see how much Ferrari was fighting to win. And
Mm.
even though they didn't really get all like they were really fighting in the sprint. So that kind of gave me a clue to how they were to do in the Grand Prix. And so them getting pole this today was not honestly a surprise to me because of how they did this weekend, but it's still a shocker.
And then we go through qualifying for the race, and Lewis goes out in Q1. I can't say that I'm necessarily shocked by it, just once again how the car was performing. But I think the shocker really was George Russell crashing in Q3.
I saw it happen and I was just like, gosh, this is not Mercedes weekend. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I was watching it. I was on the edge of my seat, let me tell you, because at that point, Lando had the fastest time. So he was on pole. So I'm watching it, and all I just see, top left corner, yellow flag, sector 3. And I'm like, oh, who is it? Who went off? Who saved Lando's lap? Because he was like, he had gone through the first sector at that point because I was watching Lando's onboard, but I was also watching like a live stream to see the times. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's down in the first sector. There's no way that he's getting pole. And oh, I saw the yellow. I'm like, someone just saved Lando. I don't know who it was, but someone just saved Lando. So I saw George go off. I like missed the replays, and I'm like, hold up, let me rewind. And I rewatched the replay. But I saw George go off. I'm like, oh man. And then I like looked at the map and I was like, oh, Carlos went through that, so his lap won't count. And then I was like, Max just got to that. His lap won't count either. And I was like, yes, Lando's on pole. So it was fun. But like, not fun for George.
Yeah, you could definitely tell he was very frustrated. And I felt bad for them. They, like, both of them just had a rough weekend, and maybe they'll have a better weekend next week.
Yeah, we can only hope for that. Sorry, I'm just moving this around now. So, this weekend, or I mean this week, actually this race, was Alex Albon's 100th race. So, congrats to Alex for hitting 100, and he did his little tribute helmet to his original one with the Mario font. It says the doctor or whatever. Yeah, pretty cool. And then what you all are waiting for, the Grand Prix results. So Charles took first, Carlos got second, and Max got third. But also we do have to note it was Charles' birthday this week. So not only has he won in Monaco, he's won in Monza, and he's won his birthday race.
Yes, I'm very happy for both the Ferrari guys. Honestly, they earned it. They worked really hard this weekend, and with no modifications to their cars, no updates, they just went in and did it.
All right, and before we get to the standings, just want to give a shout out to George Russell, who started from the pit lane after he crashed in Q3 because he needed to repair his car. And he didn't end up. I don't think that they put on the upgrades that they brought. I think he lost them all. And literally, he went from the pit lane to P6 from the pit lane. Like, that's pretty good. It's super drive from George. And
Yeah,
shout out to Liam
definitely.
Lawson, because he went from P19 to P9 after he took a 60 place grid penalty. And that's all I want to say. He took a 60 place grid penalty because he took a new power unit and stuff. But he went from P19 to P9, so he also got points. So congrats to Liam for his, not first F1 points, but first F1 points this season. And while we're talking about this, I feel like we have to talk about the penalties at the end of the race. Or not even at the end of the race, throughout the entire race. Because there was just so many, they were like coming left and right, but I feel like they were a little inconsistent.
I feel like the FIA had like, that little container where you put all the balls in it for, what is it? Gambling. It's not gambling. It's
The lottery,
what is it?
the Powerballs,
Yeah, that kind of
Power
thing. And they're just
5.
like, yeah, they're just turning it and turning it. And they were just grabbing cars out and they're like, okay, yeah, penalty. You get a penalty. You get a penalty. You should have deserved a penalty, but we're gonna give it to him. That's
So,
my 2 cents on it.
yeah. So I'll agree with you. It's tough because you can go back, you can see the instances. Literally the exact same thing happened with George and who was George line to line with? Wheel to wheel with. I forget who it was. Coming into that corner, George ran them wide, and then George got the penalty. But when Max does it, and Max was clearly not ahead at the apex from the angles that I've seen, and then Lando gets the 5-second penalty when Lando's ahead going into that apex. Like, make it make sense? So, like, they called it on George and they called it on a couple
It
others.
didn't.
And then Oscar came out afterwards when he was doing media, and he said he was in literally the same position yesterday, and he was the one with the penalty, not the other person. Because he ran them wide. You cannot run the drivers off the track.
Yep.
And Max did that literally at the start of the race with Lando, and he didn't get the penalty. So I'm just like, if you're gonna give the penalty out, then surely Max needs a penalty because he did it twice. Like, or if you're gonna do that, then you need to put Lando back in third because and it was a mess, not consistent at all.
I literally watched the ending. And I was like, a penalty to land? Like what did he didn't do anything. In other words, it should have been Max. Like, why are we giving penalties? I was so mad. I literally saw my phone down. I was like, we just lost the race because they just felt like giving a penalty to someone who didn't even deserve it. Meanwhile, the person who does is literally right there winning the race in third place.
And then not even that, but then he got a black and white flag because he hit track limits, which I had been saying since the first track limits warning that he got, that he needed to like be careful, because there were multiple times where I thought that surely he's gonna get another strike here. And then he gets it like on like the third to last lap. I'm like, all right, well now you gotta build a 5-second gap so he doesn't jump you. And then he just didn't do that. But I do want to note that McLaren did tell Oscar to slow down the last lap in order to help Lando in the event that the penalty was more than 5 seconds. Shout out to Oscar because he did that, but still sucks that Lando got even though he really, I don't think he should. Anyways,
the constructor standings are at McLaren is at 544, Red Bull is at 504, Ferrari is 496, Mercedes is 344, and Aston Martin is 86. The drivers are currently at this state. Max is 354, Lando is 297, Charles is 275, Oscar is 247, Carlos is 215, Hamilton is 177, George is 167, Checo is 150, Fernando is 62, and Hulkenberg is 29, beating out Stroll. Everyone from Lewis and below is mathematically eliminated. Radar points. Alrighty, we're to radar point. Okay, I suggested 2 games this week. Just the Vikings, because even though they had an off day today, well, yesterday, I think they can come back and maybe beat the Rams. We'll see. And then just the Eagles versus the Bengals, because I don't know, they've both been doing okay. So if you want to watch that game, you can.
all right, my picks are Bayern versus Barcelona. You ate to see it. But Hansi Flick is now Barcelona's head coach after a stint with Bayern and the German national team. And he just knows how to get the best out of his players. So we'll see if Vincent Company can produce a good lineup that we will continue our winning streak against Barcelona. But I think it's low-key a bit of a revenge game with Barcelona for them. Especially because now they also have Robert Lewandowski, who was our striker before we signed Harry Kane. So, bit of a revenge game, but I think it will be good. And then, of course, next Sunday is El Clasico. So that will be Barcelona and Real Madrid. I promise I'm not a Clues fan. I promise. Promise that. Because I just... It looks really sus like I'm a Clues fan right now. And I promise I'm not. But El Clasico is just one of those games that you circle and you just need to watch. So, alright. And to end, we will end with our podium predictions for the Mexican Grand Prix. I am going to put a Ferrari in second. I am going to put a McLaren in third. And I am going to put a Mercedes in first.
Actually, it's not a bad prediction. Because I was gonna say my top ones were gonna be like Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren. But I didn't know where I was gonna place them. But after the weekend Mercedes has had, Mercedes being maybe second, I'm gonna say second. I'm not sure how they'll do if they do any upgrades or try to fix the upgrades that broke. I want to say honestly a Ferrari maybe in first again, and then a McLaren in third.
Yeah, and the Mexican GP is a downforce track, so we'll see, knowing how some of the other downforce circuits went. I don't know, it's up in the air, and if Mercedes don't crash out during qualifying, I feel like they have a good chance here. So, alright, you doing the outro?
I guess we'll see. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on our post notifications. Check out our other social media pages in the link down below. Leave a like if you think Ferrari is getting a podium, or if you think someone else is. Please leave it in the comments. Your best predictions. All right. Thank you. Goodbye.